Today's session of ET Dialogues is with Mr. Sashi Krishnan, who is the director of NISM, which is an institute that provides education on the markets. Formulated by SEBI, it's an institute that is growing from year to year. Mr. Sashi Krishnan brings nearly 40 years of experience in pension fund management, life insurance and mutual fund industries, with huge expertise in equity and debt markets. He has served as the Chief Executive Officer of the National Pension System Trust from January 2021 to Jan 2024. Prior to this, he was the CEO of Aditya Birla Sun Life Pension Management Limited. He has also held leadership roles at Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance Company Limited, Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance Company Limited, DBS Bank Singapore, DBS Cholamandalam Asset Management Limited, and Unit Trust of India. He has been an active member of the Index Policy Committee of India, Index Services and Products Limited, the Capital Markets Committee of the IMC Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and the co-chair of the Life Insurance Committee of the Bombay Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We take great pleasure in having you on board with us today, sir.
Thank you so much, Dinya.
The first question that comes to mind is, tell us something about the mandates of NISM.
So, the purpose of NISM is capacity creation for the securities market ecosystem. And we do four main things as part of that purpose. One is we do long-term academic programs to create capacity for the securities market ecosystem. The second thing that we do is certification. So, we certify professionals who need to work in the security market ecosystem, and we also ensure that there is continuing education for these professionals. The third thing that we do is we do a large number of management development programs for entry level to senior level executives from the security market ecosystem, as well as management development programs for private entities and for a large number of government entities also. And the fourth thing that we do is investor education, and that's also a very important part of what we need to do, part of the mandate. And in the investor education programs, we reach out to the citizens of this country to make them financially literate.
Okay.
And to make them sort of, enable them to sort of navigate the financial markets.
Right. So these would be, like the four pillars that we are dealing with.
Right.
Very interesting. So, sir, NISM certifications are mandatory qualifications under regulatory requirements. How do you ensure these certifications go beyond compliance, and, generally raise the professional standards?
So, just to give you the size of the sort of operation that we do in certifications, we certify close to around 400 to 500,000 people every year. That's 4 lakhs to 5 lakh people every year. And these people are not necessarily people who have to be working in the securities market ecosystem. There are also people who potentially want to work in the ecosystem, as well as people who, students, teachers, and those kind of people. So, whereas our mandate is to equip them to deal with the various issues in the securities market ecosystem, it is also to take them beyond merely knowing regulations, merely knowing, how to sort of navigate the ecosystem. It's also about, educating them on a lot of the nuances of the securities markets, and, make them familiar with products, make them familiar with processes. And therefore, certification is not merely, a checkbox kind of an item. It is actually to equip you to deal in the securities market ecosystem. We offer certification in 32 sort of areas of the securities markets.
32 disciplines,
32 areas, yes, including, for example, if you were to be a mutual fund distributor, you need an NISM certification. If you need to be a portfolio manager, you need to be NISM certified. If you need to manage an alternate investment fund, you need to be NISM certified. If you need to distribute PMS products, you need to be NISM certified. So we have 32 certifications which we offer. Most of them are mandatory. There are a few that are not so mandatory. Beyond that, so we also offer certification to investors. We have something called a SEBI investor certificate. We call it SICE. And in the SEBI investor certification, which is offered to any investor who wants to appear for it, and it is free of cost. We try to equip investors also with sufficient information for them to actually sort of use these financial market products and create wealth for themselves. And over there, every year we certify something like 2 lakh investors, that is normal citizens of this country who want to give these examinations. So this certification business, I think, is a very, very important part of how the securities market will develop.
So it's kind of a mandate that it needs to be done in order to be in the market.
Correct. So for all these professions like portfolio management or mutual fund distribution, etc., it is mandated that you have to give these examinations.
Fair enough, sir. With markets becoming more complex and technology driven these days, how frequently must certification frameworks evolve to remain relevant? What drives this evolution, sir?
So certifications need to be evolving every day. If you look at what our certifications actually do, we have a conceptual framework which may more or less be sort of continuously evolving. But regulations keep changing very so often, and your certification framework needs to sort of keep up with the changing regulations in the market. Now, if you look at how the entire certification framework is organized, the certification remains valid for a 3-year period. And after a 3-year period, our professionals working in the securities market need to come back to us for what we call CPEs, or continuing professional education programs. And these are 6-hour long online or physical program which they need to attend, where they need to keep themselves updated on what has happened over the intervening years since they last got their certification. So we try to keep equipping all the people all the professionals working in the market with the latest happenings that are there in the market, and this is an evolving process. From a updation perspective, we update the content that goes beyond all our certification every 3 months.
I see.
Correct. If not, more frequently. And the certifications are basically self-study. So we create content across all our certifications. We deliver this content free of cost to all the professionals who want to give these examinations. They study it themselves and then they come back and give the examinations.
I see.
And at the point of time when they're giving the examinations, they need to be updated on whatever the regulations, etc. are. So this is a continuous process.
Ongoing process.
Yes.
Right. Interesting. Now, sir, in an era where financial markets are also continuously evolving, how critical is structured e-learning for skilling and reskilling and upskilling?
Correct. I think that is a very, very important part of how we can deliver content and knowledge to our sort of investors and stakeholders, professionals, etc. So we have a very, very sort of extensive e-learning program, which are split into 2 fundamental sort of compartments. One is what we call skill development modules. And we have 32 skill development modules, which are basically meant for people in the securities market who are doing these front-end jobs. Like whether you need to do, sort of anti-money laundering verification, or you need to do your know your client verification, etc. We have these skill development modules. We have 32 of these skill development modules. Similarly, for people who need a little more extensive knowledge, we have got e-learning programs. And these e-learning programs could be anywhere between from 5 hours to 21 hours. They could be very basic, they could be very, very advanced. We do a lot of these e-learning programs with people who are experts in their particular field. So if we are doing for something, for example, something in climate financing, we would do it with an expert in climate financing. If we are doing it in municipal bonds, we have done a program with the World Bank on municipal bonds and municipal financing. So we also partner with a lot of experts in the market to do these e-learning programs.
Okay.
And today, we again have a very extensive sort of a suite of e-learning programs. In fact, I would like to specifically mention one particular program that we have, which is called the Financial Literacy Course for Bharat. And this is a 21-hour course, this Financial Literacy Course for Bharat, which is offered free of cost to anybody who wants to do it, which takes you through the entire spectrum of what financial markets are about, how do you go about doing financial planning, what are the financial products. Today, for example, the University of Bangalore has made this a mandatory course for all their students, right? It could be a non-credit course, it could be a credit course, but it's a mandatory course. And we do believe that that's one of the ways we can take financial literacy to the entire country. So I think e-learning...
It's open to all, right?
Right.
Program.
Yeah. So e-learning and skill development programs, I think, are very, very essential for both the people who want to equip themselves with more financial knowledge, as well as for professionals who are working in the market.
Very true. So, sir, are you seeing a shift in demand from certification-led learning to competency-led continuous learning models? Now, how is NISM responding to that shift?
So continuous learning, I think, is something that is today going to be very, very necessary. Certification obviously is very important. There is no doubt about the fact that certification is important. But continuous learning, I think, is equally important. And there are 2-3 things that I want to mention out here. As much as we do our, as I told you, continuous learning programs, we also offer a lot of our courses on the iGot platform, for example, on the Swayam Plus platform, for example, where we are now hoping people from the government ecosystem and people from the university ecosystem, that is the iGot platform and the Swayam platform, can access a lot of our courses and keep equipping themselves with whatever is happening in the market
latest
and the latest in the financial
technological developments in the financial world.
As much as we do that, I think we are also now offering a lot of these programs in vernacular.
Oh, I see.
So they are now available in most of the main stream Indian languages. And we are now able to reach out to a lot more people.
To a larger diaspora.
Larger sort of, population.
Interesting. So, sir, beyond short-term certifications, NISM also offers long-term academic programs, which is on campus in hybrid formats.
Right.
What gap in the financial ecosystem are these programs designed to address?
So, I think 3 gaps that straight away come to my mind. One is that there is clearly a lack of specialized securities market programs in this country. Your traditional MBA programs, for example, I mean, deal with, finance at a broad spectrum level and not at a specific securities market level. And that was one very big gap that we observed, because the securities market in India is growing so very rapidly that there's really need for talent in the securities market.
Totally agreed.
And all NISM programs are, sort of very, very focused on building capacity for the securities market. So that's one big gap. The second big gap, I think, is that there's a lack of skilled professionals in the regulatory ecosystem also. So whether it is, compliance related activities, whether it is, supervision related activities, there is a very big gap. So there we today offer a long-term program, a one-year program, an LLM program, in collaboration with the Maharashtra National Law University, to equip people to become familiar with the securities laws and the various sort of regulatory requirements out there.
Okay.
I think the third big gap that we have is the fact that this gap between academia and industry needs to be bridged. And I think that's where a large part of the pedagogy that we have in NISM is focused on. Because we do believe that it is not merely theoretical knowledge that can equip people to sort of become successful in any kind of profession they take up in the securities market. And I think what we do in NISM is trying to bridge this gap. And we do this in a variety of ways. First of all, our entire pedagogy is through immersive learning, right? So we have, a large number of laboratories in NISM where, people can, actually get almost real-world experiences in how the markets work. So we have a simulation lab which simulates the entire market ecosystem. And people could trade equity, could trade derivatives in that simulated environment to understand how markets work. Similarly, we have a data sciences lab. And the data sciences lab now equips you with trying to sort of understand how algo trading, for example, operates. How do you manage big data? Because there is so much of data available in the, securities market universe today. Similarly, we have a Bloomberg lab where, students and, professionals who come in to learn can actually operate on Bloomberg terminals and understand how to sort of navigate the entire that entire area. We are now in the process of setting up a RegTech lab, that is a regulatory technology lab, because a large amount of regulation and monitoring has now gone digital.
Very true.
So these are some of the labs we have set up. We are also in the process of setting up a bond trading lab, because we do believe that bonds will become a very big market in course of time. So we are setting up a bond trading lab. So the entire learning experience is immersive. So it's not that they just go into a classroom and then they try and learn the theory about it. They actually go into the labs and operate markets and try and understand how things work. And that gap is something that we think needs to be bridged in a place like the securities market.
So true. So I think exponential learning through role plays is the future, not only in the markets, across academia. And I think there is where you are coming into play with best practices. And I'm sure these are adopted globally. These are not only adopted at your level. But I think the whole experience that you said is so immersive that technology is adding as some kind of a foil to take that forward.
Very interesting. So experiential learning, I think, is exactly the way forward. Without experiential learning, I think you will never be able to sort of.
I think that's a very valid.
Learning is not going to be very, very effective. That's
very
one.
True, sir.
Along with this, even in the classroom, we still, we use mostly the case study method of teaching, where we take real life cases in the market. And this role play, as you rightly said. These are all very, very important tools in how we can sort of equip our students and professions who are coming back to us to learn with the real life skills.
So rotor-based learning is out and experiential learning is in.
Correct.
Very valid point. How important, sir, is industry integration, which is internships, practitioner-led sessions, live market exposure? Today's professionals require that. So how important is it in your viewpoint, sir?
I think it is very, very important. And we are very, very lucky because we are a trust set up by the Securities and Exchange Board of India, and we have access to market practitioners. In fact, we have almost 100 professionals working in the markets who visit us on the campus to talk and deliver lectures on, various aspects of the market. So we use, that expertise that is there in the market to come and sort of equip students with what exactly is happening in the market. So there
Right.
is no doubt about the fact that you really need to do industry-led teaching rather than anything else.
True.
The second is that internships are an integral part of all the courses that we do.
All right.
So every student of ours necessarily needs to go through an internship with somebody who is a security market participant, either a market institution or a market infrastructure institution. And I think that's where the real learning happens. And without this kind of an exposure, I think the entire sort of learning experience would be incomplete.
So what I'm gathering is that industry interface is a very important part of the learning curve.
Correct.
And which is what you are following and taking it forward with internships.
Right.
With live internships with regular market players.
Correct.
So students, so to speak, get the hands-on experience while they're going through the program, which I thought is a very interesting point.
I'm beyond students. Many of the participants who come and participate in our MDP programs, that's the management development programs, as part of their sort of 5-day program that they do on campus.
Right.
They actually have immersive experiences in going to the exchanges, going to the clearing corporations, understanding how they work. So it goes beyond the student. It's for even the professionals who come back to us, we use this same technique.
I see. Very interesting point. So from entry-level professionals to the C-suite,
right?
How are corporate training programs evolving to address strategic leadership in a volatile and tech-driven market environment today?
So I think we cater to the entire spectrum, right, as you rightly said, right from the entry-level sort of people who are joining the workforce to the middle management to senior management. And just let me give you a little example starting from the top. In terms of senior management, we very often do programs for people who are, at the board level, say board of directors of companies, or on the
senior level,
or trustees in mutual funds, or the CEOs of portfolio management companies. And a lot of these are very interactive programs where we get the industry professionals, the regulators, the academics, all on the same platform for a wider discussion on some of the issues that need to be addressed in the market. And these, I think, are very, very high level sort of discussions which throw up a lot of new ideas. The regulators also sort of understand what are the problems facing industry and do lead to a lot of potential new thinking in many of these areas. For the entry level people, I mean, we need to equip them to sort of do their day-to-day job, and there I think a lot of that would be more the base level understanding that they need to have about security markets or the kind of profession that they would be getting into.
So here's a program that is there not only for people who want to learn how to be in the markets and how to move themselves forward, but also industry interface with people on the boards, chairman level, people who are actually at the front end of the markets. Maybe SEBI, they are giving inputs which possibly SEBI could take forward and work on that. So I think this is a very interesting aspect of what is being done.
On the same lines, we also deal with a large number of associations, etc. For example, we have a sort of program that we run with the Institute of Risk Management. Where we get enterprise risk managers into the room for a one-day full conference. Similarly, we do programs with the Association of Portfolio Managers where we get portfolio managers into the room and do
I
an
see,
entire
I
one-day sort of
A kind of a workshop
program
kind
with
of a
them.
program. Okay.
Similarly, we do, we are planning to do a program with the CFA Society
I see.
on ethics,
I see.
where we are getting market participants to come in and get a better understanding of
Okay.
ethics.
All right.
So we participate, we do partner with a large number of sort of professional associations also. For example, we also partner with the Bombay Chartered Accountants Society.
I see.
We did a recent program with them about initial public offerings.
Okay.
Which is a contemporary thing that most people are interested in understanding, especially chartered accountants.
Very true.
So we pick up a lot of these contemporary topics, partner with industry associations, and offer it to their sort of members so that they become sort of more equipped to deal with these issues in the market.
Very true. Interesting.
And this year we have, done close to around 150 such MDP programs, which we would have touched around 10 to 15,000 professionals.
Amazing.
Just in this particular
area. Amazing. Do you see leadership development in financial services moving beyond technical expertise towards governance, ethics, and value creation?
Thank you for asking that question, because that's, I think, something that we are working on as we speak. So as I told you, ethics is something that we think is very, very important. We are now, trying to work with, for example, the Association of Mutual Funds in India and many other such people to sort of build a broad-based, ethics-driven kind of study, right? But the other two things which you talked about, governance and sustainability, I think are also very important. The first thing that we have done is we have incorporated this in all our whole-time programs also.
I see.
So we actually offer a couple of credits on sustainability, climate financing, ethics, and governance in all our full-time programs. Because I think that's the way forward. And we also, work very closely with, senior management of, the entire industry to sort of put together programs that we can take to on governance, sustainability, and ethics.
So you did speak about the fact that your programs are updated every 3 months. So is that in keeping with what the new trends in industry, or is that in keeping with an academic pedagogy, or what is the upgradation all about that happens?
So when I told you my certification content is updated every 3 months.
Right.
And the reason why the certification content is updated is primarily, one, to reflect any major regulatory changes that happen in the ecosystem. So that's one reason why we keep updating it.
Right. So it's relevant now and here.
Yeah, it's relevant now and here. It's not something that was, designed 15 years back and the regulations have subsequently changed and the content is no longer relevant.
Very true. It's a very valid point there. Retail participation in Indian markets has surged significantly.
Right.
What more needs to be done on the investor education to ensure, informed participation rather than some kind of a speculative activity?
So I think, as I told you right at the beginning, investor education is very, very important for us. It's an important pillar of, our mandate. And I see this as, a journey. You start off with financial education. You move from financial education to financial literacy. And from financial literacy, you move into financial inclusion, right? And from financial inclusion, you move into financial well-being. So that's the way we see this entire journey. And we need to be part of this entire journey at NISM. And we start off with financial education. And we do financial education in multiple ways. So we actually do on-the-ground financial literacy programs. Our objective is to have our resource persons who can deliver financial education on the ground in all the 800 districts of this country. Today we cover around 250, 300 districts, but I think we still got some way to go. But I think over course of time we will have our resource persons in all these places so that they can do on the ground financial education programs. And the other way we do it is digital, because I think the way forward is obviously digital. And what we do is we do a large number of webinars for anybody who wants to attend them. They're all free, available to anybody who wants to register. And we also do a large number of master classes.
I see.
We've done close to around 28 master classes till now, where we are able to reach out to larger and larger audiences. In terms of our physical programs, we touch something like 200,000 people. But in terms of our digital programs, we touch close to 30-40 lakh people. So you can see the difference that is there. So that's one very, very important thing that we need to do. From there, we need to move people from financial education to financial literacy, and in financial literacy, obviously, it's how do you use these products? How do you understand, how these products work? If you're investing into a mutual fund, what are the kind of risks you need to look at? So we then take that, a step forward. We also work very closely with the SEBI Smarts. So SEBI has got a program where they have also got a whole set of resource persons. We work very closely to train these SEBI Smarts, so that they can also go out into the market and sort of educate investors.
So, the interesting point was about the master classes that are being given. You said already 28 have been given, and it's an ongoing process.
Right.
So, why did this come into play? What was the need for a master class that you felt that, we need that, and this is the time to do it?
I think the best people to learn from are the people who have been there and done it. So, that was where we began with, and we said that let's talk to, the experts in the market, the financial gurus in the market, and learn from their life journey, learn from their experiences, learn as to what their understanding of markets are, because, they are the best people who we can learn from. And that is what prompted us to sort of start this entire masterclass series. And today we've been able to talk to a whole range of experts right across the entire financial ecosystem, from people who are in the mutual fund industry, to people who are in the portfolio management industry, to people who are in the governance side, as you were mentioning, to people who are on the regulators. So, and getting these different perspectives, I think, gives people a very, very good idea as to, how do we understand these financial markets. Another very large initiative which we have taken on the investor education side is that we run something called the National Financial Literacy Quiz. And in this National Financial Literacy Quiz, which is open to all graduate and postgraduate students in this country, we get a participation of almost 3 lakh students. And these 3 lakh students actually, participate in multiple rounds of quizzing, one being an online quiz, followed by, a quiz that is held in their own institution, followed by, regional rounds in all the 6 regions of this country, followed by a final that we have on our campus. And through that initiative, we are trying to reach out to the younger generation, to the youth, to make them more financially literate.
Makes sense. Finally, how does NISM's research function contribute to policy dialogue, market development, and strengthening India's capital market ecosystem over the long term?
So I think that is a very, very important part of what NISM does and intends to do going forward. We need to sort of contribute into policy making through research in the securities market ecosystem. And as part of that effort, what we are doing now is we are setting up, a whole set of research centers, beginning with a research center for, regulatory impact assessment and governance. So we want to sort of contribute towards policy making through research. And I think the entire sort of academic pedagogy, the academic infrastructure that we have at NISM is geared towards, more and more sort of research on market related topics. There is a huge amount of data that is now available in India, right? And we have the sort of faculty and the specialists who can actually look at that data and sort of analyze that data. And it is in that context that we now have also set up a data sciences lab, as I told you, a RegTech lab, so that we can sort of combine the technology that's available with the sort of data that is available and push our research efforts.
So I think the takeaway from this huge discussion that we've had is twofold. First is that academics and industry needs to synergize in the world of education today, especially in the world of financial education, because unless issues that academics has is not brought to the industry, there can be no regulatory body that can move forward with the right kind of regulations. The second, what Mr. Krishnan rightly pointed out, is that the future lies in providing more courses that are market-led, more courses that bring out the new trends that are moving. In fact, what we also know is that younger people are now getting into the markets. These courses are also meant so that they are able to move forward with their vision. All in all, it's been a very insightful conversation. Thank you so much, Mr. Krishnan.
Thank you so much. That was very brilliantly summed up.